It is year 4. There are so many changes that we're going to be doing with the content and the format and the structure and the video and all of the things. And I am very much looking forward to telling you about it all and showing you, because a lot of that is visual as well. I will tell you more about all of the new and fun and exciting things that we are doing for year 4 in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. Everyone that just picked up on one of the things that's different, drop a fireworks emoji in the comments. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you're here for year 4, and day 1 of year 4, and new format, new style, new journey, new awesomeness. If you have not seen the cute little intro video, little teaser video that I dropped earlier, definitely go back and check that out. But here, I'm also going to talk about it a little bit. For year 4 content, we are doing things a little bit differently in that we are going to be focusing each month and all of the content within that month on one specific ingredient. So every month there will be a new ingredient that we're going to dive deep into. We're going to talk about the benefits of the ingredient, how to infuse or extract said ingredient, how to make said ingredient, and how to use it in your soaps, in your cosmetics. So we're talking obviously soaps, hair conditioners, shampoo bars, your lotions, your lotion bars, your body butters, your bath bombs, your face serums, your leave-in conditioners, your face oil, all of the things. We're going to really dive deep into each of these ingredients, and we're not going to be doing kind of like basic ingredients. So coconut oil, olive oil, palm oil, we're not touching those. We're going to be focusing on the less common ingredients and really diving deep into what those are, how they are made, how they can benefit our products, so we can all make some products together. Speaking of making products together, I did create this format with the hope that you could sort of follow along and build along with the journey that we're going on for the education. And so if you are interested in making any of the things in this month, make them, report back the next video, and we're going to continue to build and grow on our knowledge base, which is going to be tons of fun. And as I said in that teaser video for January, January's ingredients and soap case is coffee. So we will be exploring coffee in all ways that it can be incorporated into our soaps and cosmetics this month. So we're not just talking about an infusion within our lye solution, although we will be doing that. We're not just talking about using it as an exfoliant within a scrub, which we will not be doing. We're also going to be talking about how we can make our own coffee oil, how we can make our own coffee butter, how we can make our own coffee extracts, and how we can take all of those products and use them in different applications across our soaps and cosmetics world. I will be saying soaps and cosmetics a lot throughout all of this. You're just going to have to get used to it. Now later on this week we will be making our coffee extracts, our coffee oils, and our coffee butters. But today I want to talk about coffee itself, the coffee bean, what it is comprised of, and what the benefits are for skin and hair, so topically. Now, huge disclaimer with all of this. I am not saying that you should go out there and say that your soaps have these benefits, because that is against the law if you want to keep your soaps strictly soaps. Remember, if you make any claims, it's either a cosmetic or a drug. We've been here before. So I am not suggesting that you now go out and promote this information and get yourself in trouble. Know your laws, know the rules, and follow them. But it is important to understand the benefits of coffee beans topically for our purposes when we are making soaps and or cosmetics. Because whether or not we can say them doesn't change the fact that they exist in our products. So That's what we are going to be talking about today. All of the benefits of the coffee bean, the ways it can be extracted, all of the different compounds and components that exist within coffee. And we can go from there to build this soapy knowledge into a working knowledge that we can then apply within our formulations. So let's get to the video. I will be making a coffee soap that is part of my 12 months of soap line thing. And probably not talking about the soap at all, but talking about the beautiful and awesome coffee bean seed thing that we love so much. Hooray, it's the coffee kickoff. Now, in order to understand what coffee can do for our skin and our hair topically before we start turning these into, beautiful soapy creations and cosmetic creations, we really need to talk about what coffee is comprised of. Now, this table shows the composition of green coffee beans. We will be exploring roasted and green coffee beans throughout this series, but for now, we are going to provide just a high-level look at coffee's components and their impact on our skin and our hair and the skin and the hair of our end users. Now, as we can see, the bulk of the material is comprised of triglycerides, and we know what triglycerides are. 3 fatty acids, glycerol backbone. Sounds a lot like soap making. Now, triglycerides, fatty acids, as you know, they soften the skin, they smooth the skin, they treat irritated and dry skin, they protect the skin, they reduce redness, inflammation, and they overall just promotes a healthy complexion. Now, that's all topically. And in soaps, they're obviously awesome for different reasons, which we will get to in a minute. They also play a vital role in maintaining the strength and the elasticity of our hair, preventing breakage and promoting growth. Now, it is important to note that green coffee beans do contain more oil, as much of it is lost through the roasting process. However, we use special coffee filters to brew the coffee, not only to keep the grounds out of our cup, but also to catch the oil that may be released during the brewing process. So if you can't get your hands on green coffee beans throughout this, roasted coffee beans are going to work just fine. We will talk about how to extract the oils from a green or a roasted coffee bean tomorrow. So make sure to, subscribe, like, all the things, come back for that. Now, back to the fatty acids. The fatty acids present in coffee beans are linoleic and palmitic primarily, which make up around 70% of the total amount of the oil in coffee beans combined. So about 38% for one, 40% for one, and 35% for the other. 30. Maths are fun. And there's an emulsion check right there. Got to pay attention for sure. When you are soaping at cold temperatures, you're going to get false trace quite a bit. Check other videos for that. Anyway, back to the fatty acids again. Linoleic acid is topically good for inflammation, for cell turnover, for sebum regulation. And in soap making, linoleic acid is good for moisturizing. Palmitic acid topically is emollient and moisturizing as it forms a protective barrier on the skin to keep natural moisture in. In soap making, palmitic acid is good for bar hardening and stabilizing the lather. Oleic and stearic acids are also present in coffee beans. Oleic is similar to linoleic in topical and soap making applications, and stearic is similar to palmitic. Now, that is all information that we have talked about on the channel multiple times over the years. And you can totally check out the Back to Basics playlist if you want more information on essential fatty acids and what they do and how to substitute and all the jazz, for sure. Now, for the coffee benefits, next up, coffee is antioxidant rich. Antioxidants are molecules that prevent free radical damage to the body. Free radicals are essentially ill-formed or otherwise unstable molecules that can attack the body and lead to oxidative stress. When speaking of topical applications, the elimination of free radicals is important to prevent premature aging, which is why antioxidants such as vitamin A or C or E are commonly found in the cosmetic formulations that we buy. Coffee is our biggest dietary source of antioxidants, but if you're not a coffee drinker, you can still enjoy the benefits of antioxidant-rich coffee in your soaps and cosmetics, which is what we are, doing with all of this. You get it. We're going to formulate some cool soaps and cosmetics. Now, antioxidants can be water or oil soluble depending on the antioxidant, and it really does depend. It has a lot to do with the molecular size. So do keep that in mind when we are talking about all of the different infusions and extractions that we're going to do, because sometimes one way, like a water versus an oil, is better than another. Okay, and now on to the benefits of caffeine. Caffeine is commonly considered an antioxidant in recent studies, so anti-aging benefits are to be expected. Additionally, caffeine is great for decreasing puffy eyes, building collagen and reducing wrinkles, good for skin tightening, brightening the skin. For the commoner, caffeine is best extracted through water rather than oil, but it is important to keep in mind that caffeine extraction via water is absolutely dependent on the temperature. The hotter the water, the better the extraction, which I'll put a graph up here. Caffeine is also readily extracted via various alcohols at an amount equal to or greater than water, including ethanol. Now look at that list, that's very important. And think about when we were talking about ethanol within solvents for melt and pour. So I definitely want you to keep that in mind for later on this month because we're going to do some fun things with some alcohol extractions as well. Anyway, caffeine can also be extracted via fats, though not as enthusiastically. And we are going to see a lot of examples of this month too. We're going to be playing with this in all forms with our infusions and our extractions and the products that we will use them in. On to more benefits of coffee. Coffee is also rich in niacin, which is helpful for inflammation, wound healing, and dark under eye circles. Now, onto the tannins. We talked about tannins a lot when we did the tea stuff. I think in year 1, might have been year 2. Everything runs together at this point. But this is an often overlooked component of coffee because it does have a pretty high percentage of tannins, which is another antioxidant. And tannins topically aids in wound healing, scar reduction, inflammation. It has great astringent properties. So that's basically what the coffee bean is comprised of. Now we are going to be, again, doing some extractions, some infusions. We're going to be doing brewed coffee in place of our lye solution throughout all of this. It's going to be a good time, but there are a number of different ways that you can extract all of the goodness from coffee and different reasons for it. It's not only just the application part, what you're going to be putting, what formulation you're going to be putting it into, i.e. a soap or a bath bomb. Like a tablespoon of coffee, extract water is not going to work great. It's not going to really do anything in a bath bomb solution. You know what I mean? It's just a tablespoon. So we want to keep our water to another application like our soaps or maybe even our liquid lotions. Stay tuned for that because that's going to be a fun one. And so for the bath bombs, for example, we would want to use something like a coffee oil or the coffee butters, which we are going to be doing this week as well, making our own. It's going to be a good time for sure. So, before I get too far into this, the hair stuff, when I said that it balances the sebum and all the jazz, that is a really important thing to keep in mind when you were talking about coffee extractions, the coffee bean, because it can be really good, especially this time of the year when the scalp gets really strange and you can have a lot of dryness or potential dandruff or whatnot. It can be really good to include into your shampoo bar formulations, but also into like your Syndep bars. So we will discuss more of that throughout the month as well. Realistically, this entire month is going to be just chock full of all the awesome, and I'm super duper excited for it because we are going to be playing with, just like with every month within this new series for year 4, we're going to be playing with really uncommon ways to incorporate an ingredient into any of our formulations. So it's not just going to be soaps. Again, I've touched on lotions, I've touched on bath bombs, solid lotions, body butters, serums, face creams, under eye, creams, all the jazz. It's going to be really, really in depth, and I'm hoping to get this in depth with every single recipe and ingredient that we cover because it's kind of a lot, and it can be really kind of basic and boring just to be like, oh, hey, so if you want coffee, the best way to include this is in, just a coffee soap. And so in place of your lye solution, you use brewed coffee. That is awesome. That is a lot of fun. But there are so many other ways that we can use coffee and any of the benefits, the components that exist within coffee, within our soap and our cosmetics products. And so I'm really looking forward to playing with that a whole lot. Okay, so kind of a high level on how we extract. How do we incorporate coffee and all the benefits and the components within coffee into our soaps and cosmetics? Well, there are lots of ways. Caffeine obviously can be inserted as a liquid or a powdered extract into your soap and your cosmetic formulations, right? Like we can get those things, the caffeine extracts. We can get powdered caffeine. It comes in a variety of different ways as from a lot of different carriers. Obviously, my favorite, as I was just talking about, brewed coffee in place of your lye solution. That's my favorite way to incorporate the caffeine into the soaps, which we will be playing around with both the brewed green coffee and brewed roasted coffee in the lye solutions this series. And then we're also going to be using the brewed coffee in cosmetics because, isn't it going to be fun to see the results of all of that? Also, fun. I can actually talk about it now. What do you think of that new cutter, guys? That is my single bar cutter that Mr. Soap and Clay made. It's absolutely gorgeous. I did not want to, show that on camera on, for any of the footage in year 3 at the end of the year for 31 days of Soapmas, but I ended up doing it anyway for reasons unknown. I suppose I could have cut it out, but also I couldn't have cut it out because I did the show of the soap and the cut at the same time, so it became necessary. Anyway, there it is. It's gorgeous. 10 out of 10. Wait till you see the multi-cutter. It's absolutely gorgeous as well. Anyway, the benefits of coffee, all the rest of your fatty acids and your antioxidants and all the jazz, they can also be extracted to use within a soap or a cosmetic formulation in a number of ways. So most of us don't have access to a CO2 extraction, but we are going to talk about CO2 extractions, and we're also going to talk about other ways, other methods of extracting all of the goodness from coffee throughout the series. And we're going to be doing really weird things with extractions, which I am super excited for, as I've already said a million times. Do you know that I'm excited? Anyway, coffee oil, which is another form of extraction, can be used within your soaps or your cosmetics or turn into a coffee butter. Coffee butters are expensive. Coffee oil is expensive. So we're going to make our own this week, and we're going to play with all of that, which I think you guys will have a really good time with, because I saw on Discord people talking about extractions and all the jazz and how they understand why it's so expensive. I don't. I do not understand why it's so expensive because it's not that hard to do. And so we're going to do it, and we're going to talk about the pros and the cons of doing it this way versus getting a quote unquote proper coffee oil or coffee butter to that from our vendors, and what the differences actually are. I found some really cool information on all of that, and I think we're going to be, probably mad, some of us, that we spent so much money on getting our own coffee oils and butters from, Brambleberry or whatever. I always pick on Anne Marie. You're great, Anne Marie. I love you so much. I super do. I'm not even kidding. But Brambleberry's prices are so expensive. Anyway, that is my my January soap. It's made out of coffee butter and oil and coffee, the liquid, the green variety. But that's it for now. It's the benefits of coffee in soaps and cosmetics. So keep this all in mind, because you're going to need those benefits moving forward, because now we're going to talk about all of the formulations. That's coming up tomorrow. And there it is, information on all things coffee. So the coffee bean, the coffee grounds, what is inside of the coffee, how it's different from green coffee to roasted coffee, and the different manners in which you're going to need to extract any of the cool components within the coffee in order to put them into your formulations. So that was a quick and dirty primer on coffee. And now it's time for the real fun. We are going to start using all of this knowledge, and we're going to start building some recipes. We're going to start formulating. We're going to start doing some really awesome things. So if you are interested in doing all said awesome things, like, subscribe, put on the bell, comment, because it helps with the algorithm and it helps me want to continue doing this. You get it. All of the things. For the people that do that, hello Sudzers. You guys are epic. Thank you so much for being my Sudzers. I hope your new year has been going really well. I am trying to catch up right now and failing mostly, but I am excited for all of this. Let me know if you are excited. Let me know what you think of all the things so far. Now, along with this new format, we will be doing videos 4 times a week, back to back. They will be probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I need to talk to the Sudzers about whether or not we want to do a live Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. It's going to be up to you guys, and we can schedule that, once a week or a couple times a month or whatever whatever you want to do for sure. But with this, that does mean that I will be back tomorrow. We will be making a coffee infusion tomorrow. So definitely come back for another round of coffee fueled soapy fun. Bye.